August 18th coming up on a Sunday afternoon. We're looking at the possibility of some storms today. There's a lot of uncertainty in the forecast, though. The certainty part is the front moves through and temperatures will be lower tomorrow. That's pretty good considering how hot it is out there now. Bad news is these storms, although lined up along the front, may vary, and many of you may not pick up a whole lot in the way of rainfall. We're looking at several different things. So let's talk about what's happening now and then what happens next. Looking outside now, this is looking north towards Fayetteville. I wanted to point out the cumulus clouds that are out there. These are clouds that have just developed here in about the last 2 hours, and these could grow into those thunderstorms later on today. There is a severe weather risk between now and tomorrow morning, about 7 or 8 o'clock, with the storms that are moving through. There's kind of three areas to watch. So the first is anything isolated today that pops up, those cumulus clouds. If those things really spring to life, they're going to be strong to severe. The second thing is a complex in Kansas that's running south. It's expected to die. A lot of times these complexes create their own environment by piling up a bunch of cold air aloft. We call it a cold pool, and it just kind of runs on its own. We'll see how that evolves. And then the second one is overnight, or I guess that's the third one. It's overnight into tomorrow. This is a little more consistent, although the placements shifted in the data about 50 miles each way. This one would be around 2 or 3 in the morning, lining up across the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line. So digging into it, here's what's happening now. Look at these temperatures. Oh, gosh. Man, it is hot out there. Right now, it's 95 degrees in Springdale, 94 in Fayetteville. X&A is 96. Fort Smith also really toasty at 97, 95 degrees in Salisaw. But if you look to the north, you can see those cumulus clouds, which are starting to develop here. And these could give way to some thunderstorms. Look like a little bit more of a robust return around Conway in that area. But everybody's hot. Now, watch this. I'm going to turn on the heat index. Oh, my. Well, I don't know about that 120 in Springdale. It probably feels like it, but I'm not sure if that's official. Although 114 right now in Rogers is also showing up. Same with 105. It feels like at X&A. Fort Smith, the feels like temperature is 111 degrees. Feels like the sun, kinda, right? All right, so here's what's happening on the surface chart. This is what I wanted to key in on here. You can see the front draped across Arkansas and Oklahoma. Storms will be in the vicinity of that front on either side. So that's really the focus and what to watch for with these thunderstorms that are possible. This is a look at the radar and wanted to show you. There's the front. Can you see it draped across the region? So storms are going to be possible anywhere along the front here. And it looks like, yeah, there's one near Conway, isn't there? A little bit of a return already picking up. So I think possibly some of these also turn into storms here. I can see a little bit of returns right in that area. Looks like those, I need a different color here for you. Those are on the foothills of the Ozarks, but it matches up with the cumulus clouds that we saw, I think. I can go back to it real quick and take a look. And I think what we're going to see happen here is, yeah, sure enough, there are the cumulus clouds. Now watch. You can see them lining up along that line. So they could pop up and develop. Looks like we also have some areas that are trying to develop here too that are just to the west. You can see them right in there. See those and then moving back over to here on the radar, we can take another look at that too, moving west, see if we got any returns out west. Nothing there, but the cumulus is really going, so it wouldn't surprise me if we had something pop up around Tahlequah or Fort Smith a little bit later. Looking at the radar, though, you can see those thunderstorms that are out there. They're just to the north. The additional thunderstorms are upstream. They're way up there in parts of Kansas, and they're moving to the south. Right now, just a few echoes, a few returns here and there. The severe weather risk is for western Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, and that's what that complex that may shift and slide a little farther south. This may make a little more sense here taking a look at it. Or maybe not when I'm looking at it like this, right? As we head into the nighttime hours and then tomorrow, let's see if I can get that cleaned up for you here. These thunderstorms that develop are going to be during the second half of the day coming up for us on second half of the day for us late tonight and then early in the day tomorrow. So it's not something that's real consistent here with that chance of showers and thunderstorms, but we will have that chance later on tonight. Did I fix it? Everybody says I did. All right. So here's where we are and where we're going. This is the data now, and you can see some of those storms in Kansas that I mentioned. They're going to be sliding towards the south and southeast parts of Kansas. You can see a little bit of returns right up to the north part of the screen. And then later today, there's some pop-up showers possible around Conway. That looks like it may verify depending on what we've seen. Here's a few more. The location really isn't as meaningful on the map as what we're seeing, just the fact that they're occurring. I think they could shift back to the the west a little bit, lining up a little more on that front. Those will fall apart later this evening, and then we'll look to the north for more storms. This is that stuff around 2 or 3 in the morning. This will also be severe. It's also damaging winds. That's going to be the main threat with this stuff as it moves in, moves out pretty quick too. I think by the time sunrise rolls around, there's going to be cloud cover, but we'll also have those cooler temperatures. So this one overnight is a little more certain. This one this afternoon is a little more uncertain, depending on the showers and storms that are out there. What I think will happen, as my son screams in the background, because apparently there's a new Fortnite season that came out Friday night. We're looking at those storms that develop this afternoon and tonight, and then this week temperatures will take a fall. They'll fall from those upper 90s into the 80s for us. Nice. At least for a couple days. The ridge builds back in and it gets hot again. But in the short term, heads up on the weather, both this afternoon, this evening, and overnight. And then the weather stands down for most of next week with just a lot of hazy, hot, and humid weather starting to build back in by the end of the week after a brief little cool down. Have a great afternoon. We'll see what happens with the weather, and I'll jump on here if anything starts to look interesting later tonight or this evening.